Where do you see this thing morph, and where do you see it evolving to next?
Well, within the United States, so our cargo program is called CTPAT. Other countries have similar programs as well. Europe, their program is called AEO. Canada has one, Partners in Protection. Singapore, Mexico just started theirs. It's called the NEEC. And so what's going to happen, and the road that we're headed down, which we're already seeing, is these programs from all these countries are going to start to merge together, so that instead of going to 2 or 3 different checkpoints, if your freight is traveling in those directions, they'll be recognized by other countries, which it's being called mutual recognition agreements, which is extremely important because the other countries are starting to mirror their cargo security programs to be just like our CTPAT program. So if you qualify for CTPAT, you will qualify for some of the other programs around the world. And that's going to help cut down on the amount of time, again, that your freight is held up for inspection when it's being moved internationally. And it's also going to show and demonstrate in other countries, especially where we have issues like religious riots or political things going on. It's going to ensure that your freight is that much more secure, so you're not, spending a ton of money on insurance and things like that. So it becomes extremely beneficial when all the countries come together on the same page.
And I don't think there are too many people that I'm aware of that would know that any better. Every time I talk to you, you're in a different country. You're always visiting somewhere else, and the contacts that you have across the world and the finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world is amazing with what you have. And so I really do. I respect your opinion on that, and I'm looking forward to seeing that come together, because we have to start understanding that and reciprocating between countries. We have to start working together if we're going to crack this nut, so to speak.
Absolutely, yes.
I see it as a significant threat, and within the companies, I want to get back to the corporate side, because that's really why you're on this show, is for the corporate side of things. Mm-hmm. On the corporate side, what does an executive do next? I mean, he's sitting here, he's watching this, and he says, well, I would really love to have that information. Where do I get that information? I know that you do some training, and you're also holding some events. Do you want to tell us, number one, about the training, and then number two, if I could talk about the event?
Absolutely. Well, from a training perspective, awareness is the key. That's where it always starts. So Customs has some great information on their website, the cbp.org website, about what CTPAT program is, what it entails, who qualifies for it, and how you go about doing that. Also, there are other CTPAT professionals, believe it or not, apart from myself, that do applications for you. Like I said, the application is the easy part, so just be aware of that. Once you go through the application process, then it's a matter of dealing with customs agents. I haven't had bad experiences, and I have dealt with quite a few of them. As long as you're transparent and honest and direct, it's a seamless path. If they start to see issues or encounter, maybe you're trying to hide things or not being upfront, that's when the issues come up.
Okay.
But you can always go to people like myself who consult. I know there's some attorneys' offices that deal in international trade that could possibly also offer that service. And of course, you can do the application yourself. It's not difficult. So rather than spend thousands of dollars, we can teach you how to do the application process, which is actually part of the conference that you're speaking about that will be coming up. But it is work, and if it's not something that you yourself can or want to take on, there are professionals out there that you can go to.
And like I said, the benefits are more than just waving the stars and stripes.
Yes.
The benefits are monetary. It can literally more than pay for itself.
Absolutely.
And especially the corporate infiltration, folks, this is real. This is very real. Once again, I go back to our competitive intelligence with the information that we are able to collect from our side. If you look at those packages, it should scare you to death. The information that your employees will give out freely to somebody that calls up and asks.
Right.
It really should scare you to death. So I would highly recommend contacting Miriam and Empower and getting not only the certification, but getting that information that you can pass down through your organization so that you can protect your intellectual property, especially. You know how big I am on intellectual property and protecting that. Miriam, your event that's coming up,
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Who would want to attend? Who that would apply to? The types of people that will be there.
Sure, absolutely. Currently, well, over the past few years, Customs has come up with a training program, and it is a CTPAT conference, which they put on an annual basis. The only problem with that is they only have space for 12,000 people, which means, and each company is allowed to take 2 people. So now you've narrowed that in half as far as the amount of companies that are able to participate. And then only if you're CTPAT certified. So that means that only that very small percentage is getting information, real-time information from Customs. And so the thought that I had was, well, there's a whole other segment of the entire population of businesses that isn't getting this information, they're not getting this training. And so it was my thought to put on a conference for them, just to get them the same information that the CTPAT conference would give. So it's the same thing. We're teaching you what type of risks are out there, what to look for, how to prepare for a customs audit, how to deal with customs officers, how to do the inspections that I was telling you on these trailers. All these things will help each company, I believe, and it will get them that much closer to their goal of being able to be CTPAT certified.
Okay. So the goal is to become CTPAT certified, and this helps on that trail
Yes.
to become. And then what types of people are going to be there? I know that you were going to have little breakout sessions to where you all get together and then you can go to choose from 3 different classes and go and learn, and then come back together and then go and learn from somebody else. What types of instructors are you going to have there?
We're going to have some of the top speakers in the industry in their particular field, because there's actually 8 areas within the application process that you have to address. For example, physical security. Do you have proper lighting? Do you have locks on your doors and windows, that type of thing, which I know to most people you would think it's basic, but we just don't see enough of it around. We also have the container security. Are you inspecting your trailers, for instance? There's at least 7 to 8 different points in each topic. Human resources. Are you doing the background checks on your employees? Do you have processes and procedures for terminating them? Like taking back your keys and things like that. Especially now that there's a higher incident rate where you have workplace violence, where people just, for whatever reason, go off the deep end and they come back into the workplace. We see this all the time on the news. So it helps not only from a cargo perspective, it just helps keep your employees safe, and it helps keep your community safe. But it is a 2-day seminar, like we were talking about, and there's going to be a total of 8 classes. Each class or each workshop addresses the different areas that Customs is interested in. And like I said, we're going to have speakers not only from the public sector, but we're also going to have them from the private sector. On the public sector side, we have people coming from the Department of Commerce, as well as Customs and Border Protection, possibly an FBI agent or 2. And then on the private sector, we've got people who are experts in their field. And so we're really giving you the up-to-date information, the latest and the greatest.
We appreciate it. You're bridging the gap. And it seems like a lot of times in business, we have regulation and we have the business.
Right.
And it seems like you're really doing a lot to bridge that gap and to help the business and the regulation come together. And to make this actually a profitable move instead of just, another regulation that I have to comply with.
Yes.
So the American business owner right now is being slammed with so many different costs, with so many different regulations, that it's getting really overwhelming. I mean, I own a business as well, so I know how overwhelming it is. And I work with CEOs and CFOs and COOs every day that we cover these issues, and it's really refreshing to have somebody that's coming down that's teaching us how to actually not only take this and observe it and become a part of it, but to help to monetize it as well.
Yes, and you're right, because from a cost perspective, yes, I can see how it could get out of hand, especially if you don't have any processes or procedures in place. But the good thing about Empower that is not typically out there with other people is we've taken it a step further, and we've actually come up with some very creative ideas for how to cut down on some of those costs, which Customs loves. I mean, they know me in the industry because of the work that I've done, so they've actually recommended me to other major corporations to help them out with their programs.
Well, Miriam, why don't you tell me a little bit about the event that's coming up? I know that you were talking about the CTPAT certification, and with some of the companies that are going to be watching this, they're going to be wondering, how do I learn about it? Well, the event, you're actually going to be instructing on that at the event, correct?
Yes, correct. It is a 2-day seminar. It's going to go on from 8 to about 4 or 5:30 in the afternoon. We're going to have a number of speakers over the 2 days, which will cover each of the elements of the CTPAT program and what it is that they need to implement. So we'll have speakers from the public side, also from the private sector. So on the public side, we have Customs and Border Protection, we have Federal Bureau of Investigations, we also have the Department of Commerce. On the private side, we have a couple of attorneys coming to speak on different topics. We'll also have some experts in the field as they relate to either risk management or learning how to improve certain procedures or security practices within your organization. And the most exciting part is that we have an international panel. So we'll have at least one representative from some of the different countries such as Europe, possibly Africa, Canada, Mexico, and they'll be speaking on what the most common and current risks are whenever you're importing, exporting, or transporting freight within those countries. So I'm really excited about that.
That will be cool. And so my question there is, are both the private and the public, are they all going to be in with that panel as well and be able to hear that, or is it?
Yes, absolutely. They also have opportunities to ask questions. So we always encourage the audience to participate because we want it to be interactive. So anything that we might not have thought of, someone in the audience will, and that's how we will approach it.
Fantastic. So you're also going to have little breakout sessions, right?
Yes, absolutely. Each one of the breakout sessions, which there's a total of 8, will cover the topics, like I was saying, that are a requirement for CTPAT. So over the course of the 2 days, you'll have complete information on what you need in order to be able to qualify for each of the topics, so that when you go to do your application, you'll know exactly what to put in your application so that you can pass it.
Fantastic. And then what's your price point going to be on, like, admission?
The price point is $400, and it's a 2-day seminar. It includes your food, so you don't have to worry about that. We'll feed you. But the important thing is what you will take away from this course is that, number one, you'll be aware of all the threats that could possibly occur. And this is both for natural disasters as well as man-made events or terrorist events. But secondly, you'll know exactly the points that you need in order to be able to qualify for CTPAT.
Okay. Easy enough. Looking forward to the event.
Thank you. Well, I'm hoping that it becomes a great success, and I'm hoping a lot of people get a lot of great information out of this.
Yeah, looking forward to September.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, so you don't want to miss it.
I won't. So thank you very much, Miriam, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
Yeah, you're a professional, and we're very happy to have you on our side, on the corporate side, of course, and also on the government side. You truly are a credit to your industry, and we appreciate you making that bridge between business and government, where we can understand regulation, we can conform to it, and we can actually make money off it. That is a very cool combination that you're bringing to the table. So I wanted to thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, Miriam Marsh, I'm Sam Sadler. Thank you.